What's up, what's up, what's up, everybody? Good to see you guys. I know that it's been a while since I've seen you. Probably been a little bit of a while since you've seen me. Actually, hang on. There we go. Does that work a little bit better? That probably works a little bit better when you have the right mic on. Been a little bit while since I visited with you guys here on Wake Up America. Huge shout out to Steve Oatley for letting me guest host this episode of the Midday News Update. We're live right now on all of our platforms, Rumble 24/7, our citizenstringer.tv platform, which you guys can sign up there to get and follow all of the news and all of our shows as well. And we're also live on all of our social media. Been a little bit before I get into the news, been a little while since I've seen you guys. Just wanted to let you know we're here. I'm in our studio here in Atlanta, breaking everything down, working behind the scenes, a lot of which you guys don't see, but then you see on the forefront. So wanted to let you guys know I'm still here, still alive. I celebrated my birthday this weekend, which was super interesting. And I'll talk about that later on today on my own show, which you guys will see this afternoon. And I wanted to talk a little bit this afternoon as well about what it's been like for the last 365 days as I completely started chasing a passion of mine versus, slaving away in corporate labor. So tune in tonight for that episode on Freedom Flashpoint. But first, let's jump into some headline news. Today, big breaking news coming out of New York as the mayor of New York, de Blasio, though it's breaking, not surprising, has issued a vaccine mandate for all citizens of New York. Here's the interesting part about this is that this mandate is now applying to ages 5 through 11, which a mandate of that age group hadn't been applied before. So this is something that we're seeing that's totally new. And to be quite frank, pretty grotesque and disgusting. This will apply starting on the 14th of December. You must have a second shot by December 27th. So we'll see exactly how this plays out. This mandate is being called for all private sector employees. As we know, a public sector employee mandate has been put in place, but struck down and been put in place by federal judges on Biden's mandate for vaccines in the public workforce. This being tweeted out earlier by Mark Levin, saying New York City is strengthening back screenings at indoor public establishments like restaurants and theaters. It will include 5 to 11-year-olds as of December 14th. Will require the second shot, not just a single shot, by December 27th. He goes on to say these are much needed measures in the face of our Delta/Omicron wave. The wave of Omicron he's referring to is the subset of new cases that we've received around the United States. I'm sure you guys have all heard over the weekend. Cases have been popping up everywhere. The interesting part is that most of them have been popping up in people that are already double vaccinated. Quote, a lot of parents want to take their kids out of wonderful things happening in the holiday season. Here's a reminder, get your child vaccinated. One dose will immediately qualify a child in any of these activities. I'm a parent. I remember vividly when my kids were going to school, you don't end up in the situation where a child is left unprotected. I urge all parents really strongly get that vaccination. It's safe. It's proven. This is what de Blasio said earlier today. Blah, 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 blah. Indoor activities now require that you must show these vaccine cards or passports to get in any entertainment, school activities, so on and so forth. Blah, 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 blah. This is likely to face several legal challenges as it goes in and up through the courts. De Blasio, though, he's on his last day. He's out of there January 1st. His opponent in the mayor's race this year set to take the seat on January 1st. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out with New Yorkers. They say that 80% of New Yorkers are already vaccinated, though we have no figures on how many kids may be vaccinated. The mayor's office was estimating at 20% of 5 to 11-year-olds have been vaccinated. That's just crazy to me, though. We're going to put our kids through this as if we haven't faced it enough already. You can read more about that on our website, citizenstringer.tv. April would put out a pretty awesome article about that earlier. Oh, and let's see. Let me turn the TV down here. See, it's been a little while since I've been live, so I've got everything on in here. If I could turn around the camera. Actually, let me do it real quick for you guys. So you can see here I got all the computers, monitors, everything set up. So that way we can cover the news all day, every day for you guys. Wanted you guys to see that. It's not just a ruse. I'm here. I'm working. I saw some of your comments last night in the chat in Wake Up America, and it was funny to watch them as they were coming across the screen. Adams disappeared off the face of the earth, blah, 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 blah. So, wanted to make sure you guys know we're here. We're alive. So in talking about New York, right, we're talking about these lockdowns. Here's another crazy thing happening with New York. The former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, as he faced these allegations of sexual misconduct, his brother, Chris Cuomo, joins him in that ring and arena as well. Last week on Friday, being fired officially from CNN amid more sexual allegations and misconduct allegations against him. This is super interesting. Remember, November 30th, Cuomo was suspended from CNN, and CNN had cited the reason for his suspension were growing concerns over, him using his resources at CNN to help out his brother at that time. Now, being fired, we are finding out that he's had some sexual misconduct allegations and all these other things that are coming on. Now, here's the really interesting part, is that if CNN gets sued in all of this, which, according to Fox News, they may be facing a potential onslaught of lawsuits with Chris Cuomo now being fired. This could open up the door for a complete demise of CNN. I know a lot of you, and myself included, would love to see that. There'd be nothing greater to happen to America right now than to see CNN just completely fall down to the ground. I would absolutely love it. There's been hundreds of people that have submitted in claims to CNN, according to them, a lot of which false, but they have had some, according to CNN's owner, that they have had some allegations that they do believe to be possibly true when it comes to Chris Cuomo. They said that they are actively investigating that. This is according to a CNN business article you can actually find on their website. It seems that they've turned very quickly against Chris Cuomo, and that they'll probably continue this rhetoric against him over the next few weeks as they, are potentially facing these lawsuits for associating with them. They'll probably do everything they can to cut ties with them and distance themselves from him as fast as possible. When, remember, he was just their poster boy 5 days ago. Him and Don Lemon, put on this nice little show for us all every evening. Steve told me I couldn't offer too much opinion in this show of the Midday News Update. I had to be nice and factual. But God, good riddance, CNN, good riddance. And hopefully the whole tower comes crashing down on the Communist News Network there. The New York Attorney General's office released transcripts and exhibits Monday that shed new light on Chris Cuomo's involvement in his brother's defense, is what CNN said Tuesday evening. The documents, which were not privy to the public before public release, raised serious questions. Chris admitted to us that he had first offered advice to his brother's staff. He broke our rules, and he acknowledged that publicly, the spokesperson said. We also appreciated that the unique position he was in and understood his need to put family first and his job second. However, those documents point to a greater level of involvement in his brother's efforts than previously noted, and as a result, they have suspended him and fired him now. I just want to point at this a little bit. This is, quite a bit bigger than I think a lot of the media is wanting to give credence to. Chris Cuomo has the #1 primetime show on all of CNN, and in fact was touted as the #1 primetime show in all of news for a long time, even though that's not true because Tucker Carlson, gets triple the viewership that Cuomo got. But here's the really interesting part is now this opens up a 7 p.m. time slot for cable news that's going to be completely empty. And there's actually room for people who want to get real news to go somewhere else. And it's going to be interesting to see where those viewers fall in line, whether they go to Newsmax, whether they go to Fox News, whether they end up at MSNBC. That should be a telling sign of maybe where people's minds are at with this fall of CNN. And I say the fall of CNN because, quite frankly, now they have no programming till 10 p.m. Eastern when Don Lemon comes on. So we'll see how it all plays out for the Communist News Network there, and keep a close eye on all of this. We've got much bigger issues, though, going on in our country, such as those going on at the border. If you guys want to check out this article, Lauren, one of our writers, put this out this morning about a human smuggling case in Texas. Of course, another one in Texas. As many of you know, I was down at the border just a few weeks ago and saw some of these attempts at human smuggling myself. Got to lay my eyes on the problem firsthand. This being reported out of the Rio Grande Valley sector by the RGV Border Patrol. Their agents encountered large groups of illegal aliens, an abandoned 3-year-old from Honduras, and human smugglers crashing into a cinder block wall during a car chase. Something very common down there we see at the border. In these small border towns right across the river, right across the border, you'll see these car chases. You see the associated crime. It comes a lot in these border towns. Approximately 6 p.m. on November 28th, Harlingen Border Patrol Station camera operators observed 2 large groups enter the United States approximately 2 miles apart from each other in La Paloma. Now, what's interesting here, so let me tell you about these cameras. These cameras, they have actually mounted in trees. So if you're on the Rio Grande Valley River and you're looking out across the border, the river being the border, you're kind of in the woods. You're along these dirt road trails, kind of look like 4-wheeler trails, and you just kind of go right along the border. Well, U.S. Border Patrol has mounted in these trail cameras, and they have little 5G antennas. So every time people walk up and cross the river and come right on there, they get a little alert, a little video that pops up and says, hey, here's everybody crossing through. So this is how they see all that. The agents encountered a smaller group of people, 48, which is far less than the number you guys saw myself and April with when we were there Saturday night a couple weeks ago. 48, which was comprised entirely of Venezuelan citizens. Meanwhile, an additional 120 Venezuelans had entered the United States 2 miles to the east. Multiple individuals claimed that they had been housed in an unknown hotel in Matamoros, Mexico, and then transported by buses prior to making their illegal entry into the United States. So what will happen is they go into these towns, typically in southern Mexico. Tapachula is a big one right at the southern tip of Mexico. And they get there and they encounter Mexican immigration authorities. And what they'll do is they'll seek these transit visas. I guess the best way to call it. I don't really know the proper translation of that. But they seek for visas to be able to traverse Mexico to get to the United States. A lot of times what happens is that these camps of the people are so overwhelming for Mexican authorities. What they do is they bring buses in to help transport them to other states of Mexico so they can get these visas and make their way to the border to enter the United States. 166 Venezuelan citizens, including 86 single adults and 82 that were traveling in family groups, ages ranging from as young as 3 months old to 74 years old. Illegals were found in good health and transported to a Border Patrol facility. At midnight on November 28th, McAllen Border Patrol Station agents encountered a group of 47 illegals in Havana. Several migrants quickly reported that they had picked up a little boy who was left abandoned by the river. The child was unable to communicate with agents and did not possess any identifying documents or information. The young child may only be able to say mama and papa. This is a super sad story. At the time, the child was believed to be approximately 2 years old, and while at the Border Patrol processing facility, agents discovered a phone number written on his shirt. On his shirt! So his parents wrote a phone number on his shirt and said, okay, you're going to go with these people. They're going to get you across the river. Well, these people get him across the river, and then they leave him high and dry. No one's around. Some other people that I guess are somewhat decent human beings, even though they're traversing illegally into the United States, say, okay, hey, we'll help you out, and they get him to Border Patrol. Agents were able to contact the boy's mother, who confirmed that the child was a 3-year-old citizen of Honduras. Guess where his mom is? Honduras. She's still there. Texas Department of Public Safety troopers responded to assist and followed the suspect vehicle until it collided with a cinder block perimeter fence of a property in Escobares. This is another incident where we have a high-speed chase. 11 subjects were taken into custody in this incident, including the driver. The 10 illegals apprehended are citizens of Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador, and Peru. So obviously the driver there being a United States citizen, which we see a lot in these scenarios where they have car chases. It'll be a coyote. It'll be somebody who's a U.S. citizen, and we'll see what actually happens to them. Some of them get prosecuted by DPS. Some of them are not even merely detained by Border Patrol. No Days Off for Smugglers, quote, was the title of the media release posted by the RGB Chief Patrol Agent Brian Hastings. As these events happened over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, the Rio Grande Valley sector covers 277 miles of the border along the Rio Grande Valley River and 316 miles along the Gulf of Mexico. I can tell you guys, after being down there, seeing this with my own two eyes, and being down there, I'm not sure, something's beeping in here. I don't know what that is. Sorry if you guys can hear that. This is a situation like you've never seen before. This is something like we've never seen before. Mainstream media isn't covering this. You may get a glimpse of this on Fox News every, hour and a half or 30 seconds, maybe. But this is in droves. And I can't tell you guys all the details right now, but I've been watching closely as a massive caravan is forming on the most southern tip of Mexico in Tapachula, and watching the chaos that's been unfolding there over the last 48 hours as Mexican authorities try to get a hold of people, try to get a hold of order in that area, try to bring order to this massive growing group of people. And the people are from all over, from Africa, Cameroon, Haiti, and these are the people that are coming in through the Mexico border. Not Mexicans. Not Mexicans. Let's be clear. Venezuelans, Hondurans, Cubans, Africans, people from Cameroon, and Haitians. Those are the main areas that people are migrating from over the Mexican border right now. You won't hear about that on CNN. You won't hear about that on MSNBC. They won't even tell you about today how the Remain in Mexico policy is something that the Biden administration has put back into effect. Yes, a Trump-era policy called Remain in Mexico has gone back into effect. The Biden administration is ramping it back up. Why do you think that is? We'll talk about that tonight on Freedom Flashpoint a little bit more. Going back to the news, getting into a little bit about what's going on around the world. This is another huge story. This is let's find the right one. So this is actually here on the home front of Georgia. This is called Operation Blooming Onion. And forgive me, because I can't even read the article. It's so tiny. They've kept me out of it. All right, there we go. I can see it now. So David Estes, who is the acting U.S. Attorney General for Georgia, over the last few years has been putting together a super special task force. Now, this task force is supposed to be tackling human trafficking. Well, this is called Operation Blooming Onion. It's a trafficking investigation that's now named 24 defendants on felony charges and an indictment, including human smuggling and document fraud. Let's see here. There's all the people that are in charge of this. This is across, I can't even tell you. These are how many, let me just read this. This is how many people are involved in this investigation. You've got the Office of Homeland Security, the Savannah Homeland Security Office, the Chief of Criminal Investigation Division for the Department of State's Diplomatic Security Service, the Special Agent in charge of the Atlanta Regional Office of the Department of Labor. You have the Savannah Area Port Director for USCBP. You have the FBI Savannah. You have the FBI Atlanta. You've got the U.S. Postal Service Inspection Division. This is insane. This is a massive investigation. Well, 24 defendants have been indicted on federal charges after a transnational multi-year investigation into human smuggling and labor trafficking operation that illegally imported Mexican and Central American workers into brutal conditions onto a South Georgia farm. The newly unsealed 54-count indictment in USA versus Patricio et al. Details felony charges resulting from Operation Blooming Onion as organized crime drug enforcement task force's investigation. The multi-agency investigation led by Homeland Security and other federal agencies spans at least 3 years and 53 pages of indictment of documents, dozens of victims of modern-day slavery, while spelling out illegal acts that brought these exploited workers into the United States. Basically, what this all is these people were bringing people into the United States. They were holding them at gunpoint on farms and telling them, you have to farm onions, you have to farm this, you have to do this. And modern day slaves, all because they were illegal and under the threat of turning them over as illegal immigrants. This is a huge practice across the United States, all around. When it comes to illegal immigration, illegal immigrants come here and they're looking for dependency. They're looking for something they can rely on. They're looking for a way to be here free. Well, these people are basically saying, hey, we're going to bring you into America. They would enslave them here and then make them work picking onions. That's the name, Operation Blooming Onion. Paying them less than 20 cents. Did I say $20 a day? That was wrong. 20 cents a day. 20 cents a day is what they would get paid to farm these onions. This is a huge, huge story. We haven't even begun to see what's unfolding out of all of it so far. I think what we'll see as the indictment gets unpaged here over the next few weeks, we'll probably hear a little bit more about this. But this is right out of the Department of Justice. Mainstream media, I don't even think is picking up on this yet. So it'll be interesting to see how they pick it up and maybe what they do with it. I want to talk about one more thing in today's midday news update before I kind of let you guys go here. We were talking earlier about CNN, and April sent me this article here. Thank you, April. This is because I was talking a little bit about how CNN is just going to fall down, the communist news network. They're going to implode here. This is going to be really good. So this is out of the Daily Mail, and I'm referring to them because I haven't fact-checked this myself. But fired CNN host Cuomo claims that Jeff Zucker, CNN's owner, knew, quote, all the details about his support for sex pest brother Andrew, and says, quote, others can attest, end quote. Dismissal comes after ABC News staffer accused him of sexual misconduct. Now, I don't know how much of that is true, not true. Like I said, that came from the Daily Mail. Take it with a grain of salt for what you guys will. But this is the beginning of the start. He's going to roll Jeff Zucker under the bus, and the whole bridge is coming down, man. I'm telling you, this will be great to watch. Get your popcorn, Patriots. The Communist News Network is going down ASAP. That pretty much covers most of the things I wanted to cover in today's midday news update. We're going to talk about all these stories and more tonight on Freedom Flashpoint. I'll have a new episode posted. It'll come out right after Wake Up America. Make sure you guys are tuned in for that. Stay subscribed. You can find me all on my social media. You can find me on Twitter at RealAdamJungers. Follow me there. Also at Freedom Flashpoint on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Thank you guys all for tuning in today to this special report of the Midday News on Wake Up America. I am your guest host, and a big shout out to Steve Oatley. I'm Adam Jungers. Thank you guys all for tuning in today. We'll see you guys later on this evening. Make sure you tune in tonight. Pete Santilli, 6 p.m. Will be on right here with us on Citizen Stringer. And then after that, Wake Up America, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you guys all then. Have a good day.
Bye.